Hi, I'm Tyler Tormey, and I'm here to give a speech on the history of insurance fire placards. Wouldn't it be weird to have something hanging on your house so that people could know you had insurance? In the late 1700s and the 1800s, that wasn't something that was weird at all. It was actually very common, and people did it all over for a very good purpose. When they bought insurance, they hung the fire mark on their house or building to show that they were covered by an insurance company. You might ask, what exactly is a fire mark? A fire mark is something that is made of iron, copper, or lead, was thick enough to withstand fire, and was an emblem that's normally in the shape of a circle or a square. It could be any shape, but it had the insurance company logo on it. In the US, this was done between 1750 and 1900, but the earliest fire marks started in London, and they were around 1666 was when they first had fire marks in London. What exactly were they used for? There were no municipal fire departments back in the day, like there is now. The fire departments were paid by insurance companies, or they were volunteer companies. The volunteer companies were actually supported by the communities, while the insurance company actually paid fire departments to put out fires. When your insurance was paid, the fire mark would be placed on your building. Fire marks would allow you to have the services of that insurance company, fire brigade, or fire department. Different fire marks represented different fire departments. The stories of a fire mark goes that if a home did not have a fire mark, it was left to burn. This story is not believed to be true, but because there's no actual evidence to support that, but it's one of the stories that goes around along with the fire marks, that if you didn't have a fire mark, your house was left to burn. Another story that goes along with fire marks is that there may have been a reward for the first department to put out the fire. The story goes that if the first fire department to put out the fire received an award from the insurance company. And there's a lot of stories of fire departments actually responding to scenes and fighting over who was going to put out the fire. And they would actually have people to fight the fires and other people to stop the other fire departments from fighting the fires. Not all insurance companies paid rewards, but it's believed that some actually did pay rewards. And for the volunteer companies that were supported by the community, the insurance companies actually donated to those volunteer companies. Another story is that the first successful fire brigade to claim the property and extinguish was the one that got the money. This also has stories of racing to the scene, and whoever was the first to put a ladder up on the building would be the first one to claim the fire and be able to would be the fire department to extinguish the fire. There are many different stories of how fire brigades and fire marks worked back in the late 1600s, 1700s, and 1800s, but there are no evidence in history of exactly how fire marks worked and why they hung them. They could have just been a decoration, or they could have actually been used for something. A lot of this information I got was from the website, What is a Fire Mark? In conclusion, no one really knows the exact reason why fire marks were used. The exact value or purpose of them really remains unclear. It was also said that only about 1 in 10 insurance companies even issue fire marks. With that being said, the stories above are best bet on what fire marks may have actually been used for. But then again, each insurance company could have had their own individual use for a fire mark. Fire marks are a very interesting piece of history where there isn't much known about them, which makes them even more interesting. Does anybody have any questions about fire marks?